Fire Chief John DeVell, Garden Valley, Idaho. Firefighter Medic Anthony Pilato, Sentinel, Colorado. Firefighter Medic John Gaddy, Forest Park, Georgia. Firefighter Medic Miguel Angulo, Phoenix, Arizona. EMT Crystal Hudson, Shelbyville, Delaware. Investigator Dusty Wainscott, Grayson County Sheriff's Office, Texas. Deputy Sheriff Robert Craig Mills, Butler County Sheriff's Office, Ohio. Special Agent Dustin Slovak, Texas Department of Public Safety, Criminal Investigations Division. Lieutenant James Guns, Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Arizona. Police Officer Noah Ryan LeBlanc, Laguna Vista Police Department, Texas. Officer Blaze Madrid Evans, Independence Police Department, Missouri. Police Officer Michelle Gaddy, Georgetown Police Department, Texas. Lieutenant Bradley A. Foster, Oakhurst, California. Lieutenant Paul R. Fridley, Annandale, Virginia. Naval Air Crewman 2nd Class James P. Buriak, Salem, Virginia. Hospital Corpsman 2nd Class Sarah F. Burns, Severna Park, Maryland. Hospital Corpsman 3rd Class Bailey J. Tucker, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome back to American Science Podcast. My name is Christian.
Dylan here.
Hunter.
Thank you guys for coming back after episode 1. This is episode 2. We got a lot of good things planned as far as topics and just general discussion go. Before we get started, someone's going to take over.
Thanks for the sponsorship for this day's episode. It's Johnny's Tavern, located in East Newmarket, Maryland, right in the heart of Dorchester County, right in the heart of Delmarva Peninsula. Johnny's is a local bar, restaurant that has been in business for 50 years now, serving the best local beer, food, burgers, chicken wings, good old prime rib on Friday nights, live entertainment Fridays and Saturdays. Feel free to stop on by Johnny's, give him a try, give him a like on Facebook or Google. 5-star.
Great small town, community-based atmosphere. You know what I mean?
You like that old bar feel?
Dude, it's great.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
it's great.
I love it.
You walk in and you immediately feel like comfortable.
That's
welcome.
my bar.
Yeah.
You're at home.
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Outdoor seating.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a little outdoor seating there. Outdoor bar.
Really big parking lot.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of more bigger events now too. I mean, outdoor events. They got a bike show coming up here and real soon in September, and then a country jamboree.
Check it out and figure out the events. Thank you, John.
I heard it's going to be packed and there's not a lot of other events going on in the area that day, so definitely visit.
Woo! Facebook.
So
Facebook's blowing up on that.
Well, let's just dive right in, guys. I think
Facebook.
you know, some of this, and some of our listeners might feel like we're beating. This is a subject, a dead horse that's been beaten too much. However, what we're trying to do here, the purpose of this podcast, not just this podcast, this episode, but the podcast in general, really what we're trying to do is we're trying to encourage more people to have the courage to stand up. And whether that's to say no or whatever, to realize your rights, to educate yourself on what's going on, not just watching mainstream media. Everyone knows, right, left, I don't care where you stand. Everyone knows that all the networks are biased one way or another. That they're all pushing a narrative. To be honest with you, I don't care what you believe. I want freedom for me and I want freedom for you. And so we're just talking about issues here, and we're going to provide references here and there. We're going to provide some factual stuff here and there, and then we're going to go off and we're going to share our opinions about things based off of multiple things, based off of facts, based off of stuff we've read and seen, and real-world life experience. Because to be honest with you, that's what life's all about. It teaches you. You learn the most from real-world experience, you know? So
yeah, knowledge is power. That's what it comes down to.
Knowledge is power, man.
That's my motto.
It's funny. One of the other podcasts that we did, I meant to say this and I forgot, but I'm guilty. I kept my head in the sand and deep in the sand for a long time. It wasn't until Trump campaigning that I realized that these issues, they're things we ought to care about because they affect us. And even though it doesn't feel like they affect us, it does at some level or another. And if it becomes sorry, dude.
No, you're good.
If it becomes a small issue, it will grow into a larger one, and so we should all start caring a little bit at some level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, define your head in the sand, though. What do you mean there? Head in the sand.
Oh, so basically, like
what your rights are, your constitutional rights and freedoms.
no,
Like,
not so much that. Just I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be political. I didn't want to get involved in politics. I didn't care. Leave me alone. Let me work. Earn my money. Go hunting. Go fishing. Go out on the boat. Take my wife to dinner. Let me make my money. Don't bother me.
I don't want to hear about it. Just
Yeah, I don't want to hear about it. I'm just give me my freedom and let it go. Or leave it alone. But that's the problem. We've all been letting it go.
I have too.
We've been given all the squeaky wheels an inch, and what's the saying? You give an inch, they take a mile. And now here we are.
Yeah.
Everyone's freaking out because, oh no, COVID has hit, and now our rights are being taken left and right at the whim of people that don't really care at all what you think and feel, what you're going through in your daily lives. But anyway, go ahead, Hunter.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, what he said. Like I said, my motto as of 2020 was knowledge is power. That's why I keep saying it to everybody else. Get your knowledge, research, look stuff up. If something doesn't seem right, challenge it. Ask what's going on.
Yeah.
A lot of people just take things for granted and they just bow down. Like, for example, mainstream media. What you see on TV, everybody believes.
Oh, it's a mandate. It's a mandate.
It's a mandate, yeah, but what is a mandate? What's it really mean, though?
It's not a law.
What is it? It's an executive order. What is an executive order? It's for the executive branch of government. It's not. You have the legislative branch. The General Assembly makes the laws. The legislature meets up. They votes on it. It's duly elected officials. Meet up. They vote on it for us to follow. Minimum wage is a law. All right? You got to pay people minimum wage. You can't go pay them less than minimum wage because it's against the law. An executive order is something that one man signs and says, hey, this is now the law, or carries a full force of the law. Larry Hogan was saying that all last year. This carries a full force of the law. But what ended up happening was I went in and I read his executive orders, and what exactly the verbatim in there, and verbiage is very, very important. Verbatim, it says up to $5,000 or 1 year in jail upon conviction. Two words. Upon conviction
that's
means
the judicial branch.
Yeah, upon conviction means judge, jury, trial,
That's the checks and balances
due
here.
process.
Yeah, because if the executive branch could do whatever they want, we'd be all wearing knapsacks.
He left that part out
Yeah.
on his news press conferences because he didn't want to give the people that. He wanted the people to bow down and do what he said. And it's any governor out there. If you're listening in California, Gavin Newsom, he had a recall. Why? Why do you have a recall? People were fed up. They said this tyranny is enough. Or we're
Guy's
fed
a
up with it.
scumbag.
Yeah,
and if California can do it,
yeah.
I'm telling you, right?
I mean, look at
Seriously.
Cuomo. Cuomo's gone. Pew! Now
Cuomo is no
he is.
mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a scumbag, and finally it caught up with him.
But when are
He
we
did.
going to hear about the nursing homes?
We've
what he
heard
did.
about it, and
No,
they,
but what's
they
gonna happen?
continually squash it.
They're still in the investigation.
That guy should have been in prison.
It's
still
6
investigation.
months ago.
Well, there's a theory, and this is just a theory that I heard, that this sexual assault stuff was,
A cover,
so
Yeah.
people would forget about the nursing home deaths.
Look at this hand.
and it probably is.
Well, this other hand's doing
Perfect
something
timing.
else. Yeah.
It is perfect timing,
I mean, it's
dude. There's so many things that are like it's the whole snake eyes thing. You know, look here while I'm doing this behind your back.
I still think the rapid withdrawal out of Afghanistan, because it was such a, not to get on Afghanistan because we talked about that last episode, but it was such a asinine move and such a ill-informed move to do that I wonder if it's a smokescreen.
No one in their right mind would have done that, is what you're saying.
Right, correct. And I'm not saying Trump would have, I don't think he would have done that, but I don't think any other president, Democrat, Republican,
No
Independent,
shot.
would have done that.
No shot.
And I want to know why, what happened behind the scenes during that.
I don't know. That's wild, isn't it?
It is.
But- No, like I said, I mean, people that don't know where to turn to, what to do. I mean, that was last year. Hindsight's 2020. I buried my head in the sand prior to 2020, but when you have a business at stake, that you have a lot to lose, that your governor's coming down on top of you and saying, hey, you have to close up, you have to obey what I say, and this and that, something's wrong. I questioned that. I went out and took a class called the Institute on the Constitution. I learned the Constitution. I learned about the Maryland State Constitution. I learned about the federal Constitution and the laws and what I have as a freedom as an American, as a patriot, what I can do and can't not do. And I got educated, and I ended up putting my foot in the sand, or down in that sand, and I said, no more. I'm not going to have it. And the health department came in after me and tried to impose fines and stuff, and I told them no. I sought legal counsel, and I posted signage on my door stating that any government official willing to enter this business will be sued in a private and professional capacity if they came at me with anything pertaining to or any kind of coercion pertaining to COVID-19. I was like, you guys going to get out of here. You guys.
So, in other words, you're fighting on their ball field.
I fought on them. I took the fight back to them.
Right. You're using legislation and laws and what's on the books to fight back against them.
Normal human psychology. If someone asks you a question like, sir, have you had a vaccine? You're more inclined to say yes or no, instead of turning that conversation around back on them and saying, have you? Because now you put the offensive back onto them instead of you being the defensive. I've been asked so many times now, sir, have you had your vaccine? And I'll say, have you? And it throws them off. They're like, well, yes. And I'll say, well, what the heck are you asking me for then?
You're protected.
You're protected, right? You're supposed to be protected, or that was the narrative 6 months ago, was this vaccine, and now it's now we're learning it's a little bit different. We're all on the same ball field still.
So if you wear a mask, but I choose not to, but masks work,
do they?
Wait,
Fauci said in his emails they didn't.
Yeah, that's right, and that's the whole thing. It's like it's mind freaking boggling that the medical community, if they're educated at all, knows that a respiratory virus, the particles, they go through all these masks, all of them. Every single one, I would say, roughly. Let's just say 99% of what you see in your everyday commute to work, going to the grocery store, whatever. These masks don't protect you whatsoever from COVID. And I saw this woman, she was rebuttaling a medical doctor that spoke at a school board saying, like, this is ridiculous that you're making our kids wear masks.
That was one of the videos floating around.
There's so many now.
Facebook.
Thank God, because people are waking up, as you said before, Christian.
They're getting up faster than Facebook can censor them, take them down.
I know. That's the problem, is the censorship. But what I'm saying is this guy refuted this anti-science is what it is. And he provided the facts behind it. And he said, listen, I'll go a step further. He said, you guys need to not do this, not implement this BS mandates on our kids. And if, for some dumb reason, you guys get taken to court, and he's talking to the school board here, I will be your professional witness, essentially. Is what
I know what video you're talking about. He also provided them thumb drives with.
I know. That's what I'm
research.
Saying. Yes, documents.
Yep.
Out the
Facts.
yin yang, dude. So anyway, this left leaning doctor, she's probably bought and paid for, but that's besides the point. She like refuted this particular video. Essentially, is what she was trying to do.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh well, yes, the virus, respiratory virus particles are too small, and they'll go through masks. But when they're in droplet form, meaning after you've coughed or sneezed or breathed, they won't go through my mask, or they'll be much less percentage go through my mask.
The particles are still the same size.
What the frick, dude? So
One mask, 2 masks, 3 masks.
So what are you trying to say?
How many is going to be? Yeah, I can't breathe.
If no one's sick, it's like, I don't know, man. It just
goes back to hypocritical. Like, let's start from the beginning. Where and I'm gonna be straightforward. We recorded an episode earlier. Mm-hmm. And it got deleted, and we're having to redo this. So anyway, we talked about, and we're going to go back to it, because I want to start from the beginning.
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to talk about the football goal.
Moving the goal.
The field goal. Moving the field goal back and back and back and back.
Moving the post. Keep going.
When all this started, May 2019? April 2019?
March 2020.
March
when it really
March
started.
2020 when the lockdowns. Everybody.
I'm sorry,
locked down.
2020, not
Yeah.
2019. So when that started, the big thing was let's get these vaccines
14 days.
out. Wear a mask.
No, it's 14 days.
I'm sorry, 14 days.
14
And
days
keep
to slow the
curve
spread.
down. Yeah, slow, or what is it? Drop the curve. or
Oh,
whatever.
curve, yeah. Flatten the curve. That's it. Slow the flatten the curve.
Then it was wear a mask.
Yeah.
You need to wear a mask.
Yep.
Everyone wear a mask.
Everyone's got to.
Then it was, well, once we get the vaccines, no more masks. So just get the vaccine and then back to normal.
Yeah.
We're good.
But then-
How many times do you see that on Facebook?
But then
out of your
the
governor's mouth.
Yeah, but then the vaccines are experimental, you know.
Dude.
Because how it takes 3 years before a vaccine to come out of clinical trials
Yep.
to be an actual vaccine
For human consumption, essentially.
Yeah.
You know.
When you get that vaccine, you sign the dotted line that any company that made that vaccine, you cannot sue them if
They're
something
free
happens
from
to you.
liability.
Correct.
Free from liability.
Make that make sense.
You are part of a clinical trial.
But guess who's not free?
Which goes against what? We talked about
From
it in
liability.
the deleted stuff. It goes directly against the Nuremberg trials when they talked about after World War II, you can't experiment on humans. You can't do it.
But
You know what I mean?
Back to what Christian was saying, though, is what would you say? Who cannot be liable?
The companies.
Companies, but who can be liable though? Your employers.
The employers. Yep.
Why? Because employers now,
'Cause if they mandate it,
they
it
mandate
is on
it's on them. So here's what you do: anybody listening right now, and your employer is forcing you on the vaccine, then what you got to do is you have got to turn it back on your employer. You have got to say, okay, I will consider getting this vaccine, but you have to assume liability for any adverse reactions or effects that comes upon me, because I'm not choosing to do this. You are choosing this, or you're mandating it for me. Otherwise, you're threatening me with my job.
Yeah, see, that's the whole thing I heard is that you can't sue the
Make sure they
vaccine
sign it too.
You can't sue the vaccine company, but you can sue the company that forces you to take the vaccine.
When you think about this vaccine, it is not like other vaccines. No matter what people say, this vaccine, quote unquote, doesn't stop you from getting COVID. It lessens the symptoms. And if you're young and you're not immune compromised, which they even say, you were talking about it, not to even get it. If your immune system
even
compromised.
just so the mainstream media won't touch on it, but the CDC said at one point, whether or not it's still up, who knows? Because I haven't checked, but I haven't checked recently.
Probably not.
They even said people 30 years old and younger shouldn't be getting these vaccines because you're putting your cardiovascular system in its entirety at risk. Your inflammation, stroke, heart attack, stroke, you're putting your freaking brain at risk. People live from heart attacks every day.
Not even your brain, your whole body at that point.
Yes, that's true. But what I'm saying is you suffer a stroke, you could have brain damage. I mean, I guess if you have a heart attack, maybe, but stroke, you're risking permanent brain damage depending on the severity.
It has to be caught very quickly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, if you're not questioning this, you need to be questioning this. 2 points here. One, the coercion.
Yes.
They're paying small TikTok and Instagram influencers
Yes,
to
exactly.
push ads
Yep.
to you.
There's proof
as
there-
coercion. They're in Maryland. They are giving teenagers that get the vaccine. They're giving them money for college.
It wouldn't. It's
a
weird.
coercion. It's
Isn't it weird though?
Yes.
It's
it is
weird. It's weird that they have to give you money or French fries or a beer or a burger or money or a scholarship or
If it
whatever
was
it is.
so deadly, you would be running
Exactly,
to get that
dude,
vaccine.
exactly.
You also wouldn't have to get tested.
So,
to know you have
so
it. but-
how about the whole CDC coming out and be like, crap. Well, actually, 99 point whatever % that they said of the deaths that we attributed to COVID weren't really COVID.
they died with COVID in their systems.
Yes, those people had underlying issues
Yeah,
that actually
from or
could've-
with.
So
Big
the whole
difference.
comorbidity thing. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. If you have pneumonia, but you get a heart attack and die, pneumonia is a comorbidity, but you died from the heart attack.
Correct.
That was gone with COVID. They did away with it. You had COVID in your system, you died of COVID.
Yeah,
You had COVID in your system and somebody shot you in the head in Chicago, you died of COVID.
Yeah, I
bullets
know a
or
guy.
something.
I know of a guy who got in a motorcycle accident and he passed away. On his death certificate that said the cause was COVID-19.
And
That's how messed up it is. That's almost a
isn't-
slap in the face of the
Oh,
family.
but you know what
It
it is?
is.
It's the age-old thing. Follow the money. The hospitals got more money for the whole COVID stuff.
I heard, so I don't know if this is correct, they got thousands per COVID
Correct.
death.
I've heard the same.
Or bed. It might have been bed.
And what
that
came
they
out
had.
about the ventilators, dude?
But the ventilators didn't even work.
No.
Well, not only that, but once you put a person on a ventilator, their chance of
What about the boat?
living at that
Diminishes.
point?
Remember that big ass boat that went
It
up
is
there
the-
to the
yeah,
harbor in New
the
York?
Mercy ship.
The Mercy ship.
Yeah,
Never
done.
got touched. Never got used.
No. Between the two of them, there was like 60 people. That
60? Oh, they had
And you
some.
know what else? You know what else they said? And I'm pulling some content here from that. What's his name?
Really, Andy Frisella.
Andy Frisella.
Yeah.
Awesome podcast. You guys should
Great
really check
podcast.
that out. 129 with Greg Anderson, Freedom. Anyways, so I don't know if you remember. I vaguely remember this, but to be honest with you, I turn off a lot of mainstream media because I just can't stand to watch it because it's so agenda driven. But they were talking about how they were digging graves in Central Park.
Yes, they
Dude,
did talk
you
about
remember that?
Yes, I remember that on the
What-
episode.
Are you serious? New York's one of the biggest states in the union, and they're digging graves in Central Park.
They were also bringing in freezer trucks
Yeah,
and putting bodies
Also-
on freezer trucks.
Yeah, but-
also pictures of that. Yeah.
I would.
they were in like the bio suits and everything.
I
Dude,
saw pictures.
I would venture to say that digging graves in Central Park is about the epitome of what are we trying to say here? Like
False
fear
advertising.
tactic, fear tactic. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I mean,
Seriously,
they're not doing that.
If-
That's
if-
the last
if-
pace they're gonna bury people.
If any of this doesn't make you question it, let's just talk about this. A big thing in the vaccine debate is that people that don't want to get it say it hasn't been tested enough. It hasn't.
It hasn't.
It hasn't been enough time. It hasn't even been 9 months. It hasn't been enough time for a woman to get it, get pregnant, and have a kid.
Two topics here that I want to say, and go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Yeah. If you look at the CDC and how many times stuff has changed over the past year and a
It's
half
every 2 months, dude.
with the vaccine, the mask, you cannot sit here and look at that and then tell me, oh, they've done the studying, they've done the research on the vaccine. It changes every week. The stuff changes. Next week they're going to say no. Well, now it's booster shots.
Yeah. Oh,
Now
they're,
you need
they're
booster
already
shots.
at that point.
Yeah.
Keep
and so
moving the goalpost.
What right, exactly. And what's going to be next week? And what's going to be the week after that? Next it's now it's the booster shot and you need the mask.
Yeah.
COVID is here to stay.
It
Well,
is,
that's what
correct.
they
I
want.
hate to say it,
That's what
everyone.
they want because what happens when they're operating in an emergency procedure, an emergency situation, they don't have to follow the traditional channels.
That's
you know,
correct.
To get things.
Yeah.
That's why they keep renewing the state of emergency
Right,
over
exactly.
and over and
State of
over and over and
emergency.
over again.
So
There
there's
needs
a
to be
couple
limits on
things-
that, by the way.
Yeah, there does. Yes, you're correct. Anyways, there are a couple things to touch on, like what you're saying with the testing and with people saying this stuff is dangerous. We talked about it before, and like Christian said, we lost a podcast, unfortunately, just a technological malfunction.
If we're being real.
Yeah, right. So, anyways, VAERs. Not a ton of people know about it. At least they didn't be at the start of this. Not even a ton of people in the medical profession knew about this. But VAERS stands for Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System. And before the COVID vaccines, we're talking about minimal reporting in this system for prior vaccines.
Talking like H1N1, influenza.
Yeah,
stuff
right.
like that.
I mean, the flu shot's been around since the 1930s. I looked it up. Where's the flu? It's still here.
There's been like zero deaths.
Yeah.
There's been like nothing.
No, there's deaths, dude. There's 124,000 deaths a year, roughly.
I'm saying what's been reported
on
since
average.
What was
COVID.
last year, though?
on
Yeah.
VAERS.
3,000?
Yeah, right. They're not
last year,
report-
3,000?
Oh, I got an itchy arm. I'm sore. I got flu-like symptoms. No one's reporting this stuff. You've got almost 500,000 reports on VAERS of adverse effects pertaining to these COVID vaccines. Is that coincidental? Are you going to debunk every one of them? They're all lying or confused? No.
Let's say
dude.
even half were false.
There's half. Let's just say there's half. Like you said.
250,000
Quarter
people.
million.
That's
Quarter
wild.
million.
It's a lot of people.
What's acceptable? I think, excuse me, the last time I checked the death count in the U.S., and it's been a while to be honest, I'll admit, it was like 10,000 that were attributed to the vaccine. You know what? So when H1N1 was an issue, and I was in high school, and I'm dating myself here, meaning I'm a youngin. But anyways, H1N1, they tried making a vaccine for that. 25 deaths. We talked about this before. 25 deaths worldwide. They shut the vaccine down. Shut it down. And it's not just the country, it's the world. And we're talking about, I mean, what's this? 1,000 times that many people have died? 100 times? No, 1,000 times that many people. 400 times that many people have died. And they're still pushing it on you. I mean, it's like we said, the Nuremberg trials says humans need to be able to they need to have the freedom of choice for medical decisions, etc., right? And so what that eliminates is you can't coerce somebody to take a vaccine, to take a shot, to make a decision medically. What are you being what's happening right now? You got freaking Mayor de Blasio in New York saying, "Hey, you can get a free burger and fries," while he's stuffing fries into his.
You got Krispy Kreme giving free donuts. I'm a bigger guy, but yeah, let's make everybody fatter because you got the vaccine. No,
unbelievable, dude. It's repulsive what's going on here to try to get people to take these vaccines. And like you said, Hunter, what's the motive here? What's the nefarious agenda behind pushing people to take this
Talking
vaccine?
about being healthy and unhealthy, the Christian was just saying about donuts and stuff. Hey, I'm going to get a shout out to Ian Smith up there in New Jersey. He's the one who got the gym shut down. Governor Murphy's still after him to this day. He's got fined. I've been following him on Instagram. I tell you, it's worth listening to the guy. He's just wild. He wants everybody to be healthy and work out in the gym. Till his gym, they shut it down. I mean, because of COVID, they wouldn't shut down.
That's the big guy, the one with the long hair, I mean.
Long beard?
the big old beard.
The big beard.
Yeah. But
dude's awesome.
I mean, like, there's countless stories like that, but he was one of the first.
Yeah. He was one of the first.
He wouldn't shut down.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't shut down.
Or he opened back up early.
I'll be honest with you. I wish I didn't shut down either. I wish I was just like that.
Well, we all do, because you know what?
Hindsight's 2020.
Hindsight's 2020, yep. And we, unfortunately, because we've been conditioned to do so, we had blind faith in our government.
Yeah.
And now we're reaping the consequences because they took too much too fast, and now we're all like, "Whoa, let's put the brakes on!" But it's too late.
It is.
Everyone has to say that.
Well, it's not too late.
It's not too late. But I mean, it's too late for just me to say that. We all have to say that.
Correct.
Which is the point of this podcast.
He had a good picture.
I'll say exactly. This one here. The good point I wanted to make to everyone is, I mean, we're talking about this now. This is how manipulation works. You ready? Step 1, fear. Do this or something bad will happen. Step 2.
Let's break that down.
Right.
Go to step 1 again. One more time.
Fear. Do this or something bad will happen.
So wear the mask or stay in for 14 days or shut down, or you're going to get COVID and you're going to die.
Yeah.
So what's number 2?
Which
Flattery.
happens to what? 0.002% under 70 years old?
Yeah.
Yep.
I got numbers right here for the VAERS thing, too.
I guarantee it's very close to that.
Flattery. Do this and you're a good person.
Yeah. Do this, get the vaccine so you're helping your neighbor.
Yep.
You said it best before, social guilt.
Yeah, social guilt. Exactly. That is what that is.
Yep. Step 3, bribery. Do this and I will do something for you.
Hey, Hogan, we're going to give you $10,000 to go to college if you get this vaccine in the lottery.
I hate to even say this because I'm a passionate supporter, but Wawa was offering like $100 to their store for people who got the vaccine.
Yes,
gift card.
I am part of the Wawa cult, and that makes me not really want to shop.
See, isn't that an issue?
But one thing that has been good is that they've been very lax on the mask thing the whole time.
It's a good thing. I wouldn't go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
either.
sure too. All right, step 4, violence. Do this or else.
And that's where we're in between 3 and 4.
By the way, we're at step 3. Or the time I took this information down, we were at step 3. We are between 3 and 4.
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah.
100%.
Next step is violence. So all right.
Next step is where Australia is right now. Tearing kids out of hands.
Let's touch on that in a few minutes. But I can tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I just as a little joke here, I've got a medical condition that I can't wear a mask because you're allowed to say that.
And they can't ask
It's called CS. I can't do it, guys. It's called common sense.
Common sense. That's right. That's right.
Common freaking sense, dude.
I'm saying that. Oh my god.
CFS.
Well, no one really asks anymore.
CFS. But in all seriousness,
so
here's a coincidence.
You guys, go ahead.
Here's a coincidence right now. So, violence, right? The employers are making their employees or forcing them get this vaccine or you're going to lose your job. People are walking, which you shouldn't walk. You should make sure you're fired because later on it shows better in court.
Correct.
If you choose to go that route, by the way. But never walk, never quit. But people are making their employees leave.
Which it
because
sucks
of
that
this.
we have to be in that position.
It is. But also, we're less than a year out now. July 1st of next year. I know in the state of Maryland, the police officers, their protective rights, I should say.
It's
Immunity. Protective immunity, thank you. It goes away.
It's qualified immunity.
They
There
qualified
you go.
immunity. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I
So
was
they're
talking
right.
to my buddy who's a trooper I was talking to about
Yeah,
today.
yeah. So the qualified immunity leaves. They voted on this. How many people, how many Leos do you think, Leo stands for law enforcement officer, do you think are going to walk off this job? So
I
here's,
can actually tell you.
You know what needs to happen?
I can tell you right now.
They all need to.
No, I asked him, and I'm not going to name names or anything or where he is or anything. I asked him, I said, how many people are leaving? He said, droves. People are leaving left and right.
Because that means they can get sued in their private capacity. It means they're going to come after the houses, their cars, their
Yes.
families.
I don't
a cop
want...
a cop can stop. Say you're a cop, you stop somebody. That person can turn around and take you to court for civil liabilities for a traffic stop.
Yeah.
Their hands are being tied behind their backs.
Yep. People are going to walk, and here's what's going to happen. Right now, you've got nurses, the people that protect us. I'm sorry, correction. I'm just standing corrected on that. The nurses are the people who fix us and keep us alive. And they're trying to get rid of them.
Well, they're getting screwed right now.
And next year is going to be the people who protect us. They're getting rid of them. So if you don't have people to fix us, and you don't have the people to protect us,
And then the EMS can't take you to go get fixed.
exactly.
And then the firefighters can't come stop your house from
you
burning.
see the picture I'm trying to paint here for the future? Now, like I said, I'm
All
no
avenues
genie.
of rescue are being eliminated.
I'm no genie, but I mean, I'm on to something here.
So, it's ridiculous.
It's all speculative at this point, obviously, but I mean,
It's not
It's
surprising
not,
anymore.
no. Well,
Nothing.
that guy
Buckle
Greg
up.
Anderson, the one who made the video about police officers that can't really, because your governor makes a mandate, does not trump a citizen's constitutional rights. He made
have
a
an
video about
oath.
that.
You have an oath.
These guys take a freaking oath, man. It pisses me off. You know what? I shouldn't say it pisses me off. Really, what I'm trying to do here is encourage you, cops and first responders of all sorts. I would encourage you, plead with you on the case of the civilians. Just say no, man.
It's gonna no. They were right when they said it on that.
Y'all
on, Real-
gotta
on Real
stop,
AF.
man.
It is going to come down to
The cops and the military.
The cops,
That's
the
what they said.
military, the nurses. It's
Yep.
going to come down to the people who
Right
take
now-
care of society.
Yeah, right now you got the nurses standing out in front of the hospitals because they just got let go. We were heroes in the pandemic, and now that the pandemic's over, the plandemic, we didn't have a vaccine then. Now we don't want to get one because it's not tested enough, and you're firing us because we won't. But I've got a lot of information here. We don't have to touch on all of it. But so there's a thing, and Fauci. So let me just preface this. How many times do we have to be lied to start really throwing red flags up and questioning everything we're told by Fauci and the federal government, the CDC, the WHO, all of them? How many times? It's nonstop. You touched on it earlier. The CDC's changed their mind
Every 2
about
weeks.
every 2 freaking weeks. It was
Yeah.
days apart at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Fauci's caught. Fauci's emails have come out. He's been caught. He lied about gain of function to the Senate. The guy should be in prison right now, really.
He should be.
He
He
should.
should.
Yep.
But anyways, he talked about this thing called ADE. It's called antibody dependent enhancement. And basically what that means is if you give without proper testing, and the only way to properly test it is on animals, right?
Not people.
Not people. You can't do that. Nuremberg trials. Anyway,
about that?
so antibody dependent enhancement means if you give somebody a vaccine and basically it has the opposite effect, right? Your immune system fights the wrong thing, and the virus itself or the whatever you're fighting, whatever the vaccine's meant to conquer, it does the opposite effect, and you're more
So
sick.
it protects
essentially.
the virus in your body, basically.
Well, you could say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. And so, because of the improper testing, or if they have a more nefarious agenda here, which let's not speculate, but they could, they're choosing not to acknowledge this because Israel, one of the most vaccinated countries on the planet, 90% of their hospitalizations due to COVID are vaccinated people. What's up with that? What about up in New England? You know, I can't remember exactly the town and the amount of people, but they were all vaccinated.
It was in Massachusetts.
It was
somewhere.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I just don't remember what town.
What do they have? Outbreak now?
Yeah, right. And then the spike protein is a big thing for me because, like I said, I got a wife and kids, and spike proteins. You got a lot of doctors. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Even playing a mobile game on your phone, if it has any ads in it, half of them are vaccine related or COVID related.
100%.
And so you'll get
Pushing
these.
it.
They're
Pushing the narrative.
they're either paid actors or they're paid freaking doctors or they're cowards. Like you said it perfect. It was malpractice. It's either ignorance or malpractice. There's no in between.
Correct.
But anyways, these spike. They're saying, oh, when you get a vaccine and it's introduced into it's muscular, right, and it doesn't leave that area. Well, that's not true. I've got graphs to show it. If we ever do a video or whatever, we can post it on our American Son's Instagram. The spike protein is found less than 24 hours after vaccination in every organ in the body, dude. And not only that, the two organs that it's found that the heaviest, for lack of better terminology, and this is the scary part. I'll give you the less scary one first. The spleen, and here's the kicker: ovaries. If you have a wife, a girlfriend, a fiance, a daughter, you should be freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how old. They're all developing these organs, or they have them.
Yep.
I mean, we're talking possible infertility of women at the very least.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to touch on that real quick. But it's just like we said a second ago, the whole VAERS thing. If you're trying to tell me that 500,000 people are lying, and Christian, you introduced me to this, and thank you for it. The hashtag going around, it's called Protect Your Family.
That was him.
Yeah.
Well, you introduced me to it, but you brought it up earlier, Hunter. Thanks for that.
I'm just saying I shared it from his Facebook, and that went to your Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I saw it from you, but Hunter, you found
all
it.
good.
Thank
Yep.
you for doing
That's all
that.
good.
But
Look at it.
it's
seriously.
I mean, we're talking about this is basically a social media VAERS.
Hashtag
you were
protect
talking about
your family.
You were talking about the Snapchat map and how you can go to Afghanistan right
Snap
now.
map, yeah.
The hashtag on Facebook, Protect Your Family, is basically the Snap map. It is raw. It is not stuff that is through a biased
Censored.
lens.
It's
Yep.
people crying to you because their daughter just
Their
was
kids.
maimed or killed by this vaccine.
Right.
Yeah.
Go look at it.
I've seen videos on TikTok. They got a girl in there. Same thing.
I just saw
she
a
was
video
posting it.
yesterday.
about
I
her
think it was
problems.
yesterday.
Yeah.
The girl got the Pfizer vaccine.
Yeah.
Less than 12 hours later, let's say it was 15 hours just because I'm not positive, she had essentially what it is blood clots, but it was burst blood vessels. Like, let's say you pinch the crap out of your finger if you're hammering a nail, and you develop that big blood blister under your nail or on your finger or whatever. She had them everywhere. Her shoulders, her arms. She
And
took
welts?
it, no, like a blister, but it's blood.
Ugh.
I'm telling you, man. And you know what that is? When it's dark like that, it's a clot building. You know what I'm saying? It's the blood vessel is popped. There's a clot there. And anyway, she opened her mouth. And these are her words. She had like 15 on one side, on her left side. Her right side was full of them. I mean, she couldn't even. You could hear it in her talk, like a speech impediment. You could hear it in her speech.
So what was the remedy to that? What did they do?
I don't know, because she went to the doctor and they were like, "Holy crap, we don't know what to do. We're referring you to a specialist." And when she was making this video, she was in the waiting room with the specialist. But I mean,
So this is just adverse effects, though.
correct.
And I want Hunter to say this because he has the graph pulled up from VAERS right now of the deaths.
Openvaers.com. All right. So right now, this is the COVID vaccine reported mortality breakdowns. All right. So these are the people who died. How many people died from the Jensen? 825. Moderna 3,429. Pfizer 9,619.
Holy smokes, dude! It's way higher than when I looked at it last.
It is. Yeah.
And
Unknown,
Pfizer's the one that's pushed the most, I'd say.
unknown 38. Female 6,172. Male 7,067 and 672 are unknown. The ages. Now this is really
So we're talking well over 13 grand.
yeah, just from